Hello all, I hope you're doing as best as you possibly can be right now. You've heard me say this before, but I'm gonna say it again and I'm sticking with it. Our friends over at iZotope create the most thoughtfully and intuitively designed software for audio repair, mixing, and mastering. We use their tools every single day, whether it's podcasting, editing, drums, bass, vocals, you get it. We love it, we use it, and we think you should too. Go over to iZotope.com and check it out. That's iZotope.com. Use code FRET10 at checkout. Do your best to be better.
John here, and we've got a new sponsor, DistroKid. Now that you've finished your latest Pirate Math Sponge Core Twitch trek, it's time to get it out there so everyone can hear it. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. And because you're a High Gain listener, you get 30% off. Just go to distrokid.com/VIP/highgain. That's distrokid.com/VIP/highgain. And now DistroKid has an app. The DistroKid app is available for iOS and Android. You can download it at distrokid.com/app or in the App and Play stores.
Oh, hey, it's me, Ed Peterson.
Hi, Ed. It's me, John Kiltica.
John, it's a High Game Podcast.
It is a High Game Podcast.
John, we're in beautiful West Seattle.
Yes, we are.
John, we talk about guitars.
Yes.
We talk about basses. Amps.
Amps.
Sure. Episode 350, what do you think about that?
The grand finale.
Oh, my gosh. Can you believe it?
Oh.
How you feeling about that?
7 years, Ed.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's a pretty good run.
Are you feeling wistful?
You know, I don't know that it's actually hit me. You know, maybe next week, you know, when we don't record.
Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah, like I'll have a Sunday to like, oh, I've got no plans. We've definitely been hit up. Like I've gotten texts from people who are like, oh no. What about you?
I think the same. I think I have ideas in my head of things I want to pursue, which contributed to the decision all up, but I haven't really leaned super into it because I haven't had that time yet.
Yeah. As of right now, you know, late January, I've watched a movie a day for all of this year.
A movie a day in the theater?
Mostly. Most of them have been in my theater. Yeah, I don't know. So maybe I'll watch a lot of movies on Sunday. The man has got 350 episodes of The High Gain.
That's right.
To AI-ify Ed Peterson.
Yeah, the man is going to deep fake us. We're going to start hearing ourselves in like, you know, Ozempic commercials and shit.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Maybe that's what we should spend the next few months doing.
Cloning ourselves?
Yeah, just do AI versions of the podcast. Terrible. What a terrible idea.
Well, the High Gain Instagram is remaining. Mm-hmm. And since I work in a guitar store as a photographer, I'll be able to keep taking pictures of stuff and posting it. So,
yeah,
there.
Especially new stuff.
Yeah.
Posting that stuff on the High Gain would be great. Thunder Road Guitars.
ThunderRoadGuitars.com.
That's the place. Frank and the crew have been lifesavers. Big, big shout out to Uncle Frank.
Absolutely. Who else is going to let you take home anything you want?
Yeah. As far as I know, he never said no to anything.
No.
Maybe I don't go out there on the internet and listen to a ton of other guitar podcasts exactly. I kind of do, but there are probably very few, maybe zero podcasts like this one where every week it's a new guitar, tons of vintage stuff.
Yeah.
I think a lot of listeners find us just searching for 73 Mustang or whatever.
Trying to find information.
Yeah.
Can you imagine they're probably like, oh man, I can't find any information about this guitar. Oh wow, check out this podcast. And then they listen and they're like, what are these guys talking about?
I hate these assholes.
These guys
Yeah.
aren't giving me anything useful.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, lifesaver.
Yeah,
I think.
if you plan on doing a different guitar every week, plan on figuring out what your source for instruments is going to be.
Yeah. Even before you got the job there, Frank was just giving us guitars. What a nut.
What's wrong with that guy?
Yeah. We've done 349 episodes and we haven't duplicated a guitar.
No.
And we are now at 350 episodes and the snake is eating its tail. The Fender Telecaster Deluxe, episode 350 and episode 1, they're the same. Beverages.
Yes, Ed Beverages.
The last beverage song.
The last
Oh my God.
beverage song.
I went to Uptown Espresso,
The home of the foam?
home of the Velvet Foam, right there by High Gain Central. And I got a soy latte. And I came here and I put it in the crow mug.
Ah, that's so
So-
great.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
want to thank you for getting me a soy latte also,
Oh, yeah.
so we could start out the beverages on the good foot.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very stoked that the Crow Mug has made it 7 years. And, we're going to have to retire it or something, or just put it in a case.
Yes, or maybe you should just take it with you.
What the hell is that?
Man, I can count the number of times the hotline has rung.
Yeah,
on-
the High
on,
Gain Hotline.
Yep.
Pick that shit up.
High Gain headquarters.
Hello, am I speaking to Mr. John Kilticka and Mr. Ed Peterson of the High Gain Podcast?
Yes.
Speaking.
I'm Bigsby Van Rickenbacker, HR for Ferkstad Industries and Ruinous Media Network of music-related podcasts.
What did you say your name was?
Bigsby Von Rickenbacker.
I didn't know we had HR.
Yes, I've been sent by Mr. Jimmy to conduct your exit interview.
Mr. Jimmy, my cat?
Yes.
Where's your office?
Next to the cat box, actually.
I have never noticed you back there.
So have I caught you gentlemen at a good time?
We're sort of mid-podcast, but yeah, it's fine. Now's good.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I've got some procedural things to deal with right off the top, and then we'll get into some questions here for your exit interview. I would like to remind you that at the completion of the podcast, you'll need to clean out your desks, turn in your security badges, your key cards, and Ed, the Crow Mug. You're going to have to give up the Crow Mug. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I know this is going to be difficult, but it's better for everyone if we keep things professional, please.
Yeah, I'm just taking a moment.
Okay, Mr. Hilticker, are you all set?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First question for you gentlemen is this breakup of the podcast more of an Oasis level messy sort of thing, or is it an REM graceful breakup?
I think I'm more on the Peter Buck end of things, less on the Noel Gallagher.
Yeah, REM level fraternity.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Who was more of a lead guitarist and who was more of the rhythm guitarist between the two of you?
Neither of us are really good at playing lead and don't really like solos that much.
No.
Okay, so who had more of the lead singer energy and who was more of the bassist?
I've got no lead singer energy, and John's probably the better bassist. So,
With all of the Huel protein drinks, you're looking pretty fit these days from what I've seen on social media.
very fit, but I'm not sure it's translating into lead singer vibes. But yeah, okay, me. It's Ed.
It's Ed.
Okay. What was one running joke on the show that you secretly hated? Ed, you first.
You know, HR is just going to use it against
Yeah,
you.
I know. Totally. This is in our written record, right? I think I pretended to really hate all the Wilhelm screams and sound effects, all the Morning Zoo stuff. I kind of actually loved it.
I know a thing Ed did not like.
Oh,
I'm hesitant to reveal it in front of HR. You know, whenever HR is in the room,
Yeah.
someone's getting canned.
sure.
The hipster language you hated.
Jazz Cat, I'm not a fan of,
Yeah.
legitimately.
Come on, don't be such a stone cold bring down, Dad.
Yes, that.
did that extend to Mr. Kilticka's love of jazz chords through insane amounts of overdriven guitar tone?
Absolutely not. Purely the vocal.
Scoodly-wah.
That.
Okay. So what you're telling me is that you both harmonized well enough.
Mostly. Maybe mostly.
Okay.
There's some editing.
I'm going to switch focus here. If you had to pick a guitar pedal to describe the show, which one would it be, and why is it the DRV 1981 distortion pedal?
We've had a lot of overdrives over the years, and we kind of keep coming back to that one.
But I think the question was, which pedal describes the show?
Oh.
Right?
That's correct.
And I want to say it's like either a Big Muff or a Rat, but, you know, I hate rats.
Generally, you're saying dirt.
Dirty, yeah. But then there's a lot of editing that goes into making us sound better than we actually are. So I think maybe something like the Chase Bliss blooper that can make you sound good even though you're not. Peek behind the curtains. We record for an hour and a half and 20 minutes make it to the air, so...
Okay. So, one instrument that you never covered, and I was wondering why. Were you ever tempted to replace, at the last minute, say a bass or an acoustic or an electric guitar with a ukulele? Why no ukuleles?
I did post some pictures to the High Gain Instagram of ukuleles. So we got close, I guess.
We went back through the company logs and records.
Okay.
And did not find any ukuleles, electric or acoustic.
Huh.
So, what segment of the podcast made you think, oh my God, this is going platinum?
The first time I heard Smash and Grab, the thing John mixed together, I thought that was pretty great. I feel like a lot of the little bits were pretty organic, and very few of them were thought out ahead of time. Most of them kind of just evolved. Dong's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dong kind of held on for a long time.
The reverential and respectful dong.
Yeah.
Buy or Deny seems to have become a favorite.
Yeah.
What was your favorite, not just Beverages song, but cover that John recorded previous to the episode being recorded over the course of the history of the podcast?
Oh, like before the Spotify goons came to get us?
Yes.
I can't even remember that far back. John's never accidentally ripped into a little REM cover.
To be fair, Mr. Peterson, Mr. Kilticka is not known for his jangle.
Well, that's true.
He is jangly challenged,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
at least according to our records here.
You've got my performance reviews there, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Ah.
What's the one thing that you tell your listeners now that you couldn't say while you were still doing the podcast?
Oh.
Early on, Ed, you were known for courting controversy by talking about guns in Mississippi,
Yeah.
which was a classic Ed rant, but that sort of tailed off over the years.
That was just Ed growing up and realizing that being a coastal elite is maybe not the way to go.
Is there a particular episode that you officially would like to retire or just pretend that it never happened?
Can we talk about the one that actually never happened?
Oh,
We were contacted by one of the members of Nine Inch Nails, Alessandro Cortini. Played some guitar and mostly synths, maybe?
yeah. Had a huge modular
Yeah.
rig.
Grammy-winning Nine Inch Nails member Alessandro Cortini said he liked the show and would love to come on, and we said, of course. We set it all up. We interviewed him for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
2
2 hours.
before he had to split to the airport to go do something. And then we realized that it never recorded.
Had everything all set up. Forgot that big red record button. And I think we might have felt so dumb we
We never looped back. Yeah.
And he never followed up?
we went back and forth a little bit and we were like, oh, we're trying to recover the file.
He knew that was bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, so embarrassing.
Yeah.
So, out of all the guests you have had, who's been your favorite?
Ken LaBar was real fun.
Yeah. We had video director Ken LaBar on when we did an EVH Eruption guitar.
Nick Reinhardt was great.
Yep.
Who is Mr. Reinhardt? What's his affiliation?
He's the main guy in Terra Mellows. He's played for Death Grips. Big pedal guy.
Who was the one guest that you really wanted that you never got?
Robert Pollard.
Yeah.
I make collages in the visual realm, and so does Pollard. He uses them as kind of creative tools to aid in his songwriting, as well as just sort of standalone art pieces. I would have loved to speak with him about that. But, that happens a lot. We ping people and never hear back.
If this podcast was a guitar, let's pivot here a little bit. What model would it be? Would it be a vintage Les Paul? Would it be a quirky offset Jaguar? Or would it be an off-brand knockoff from the 80s like a Hondo?
Like a Hondo.
I don't think it would be a Hondo,
I don't think it would be a Les Paul.
but it wouldn't be a Les Paul. What I want to say is it would be a Telly, just a low-end American Telly.
It does anything.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Kiltica, I have a question specifically for you, but Mr. Peterson, obviously you can chime in here. How would you describe the editing process? Was it like a Pixie song structure where you had quiet chaos followed by loud regret?
Loud regret. Very early on, I locked myself into surgical editing and liked it enough to keep doing it, and that was probably a dumb thing to do if you're going to do it every single week because it's very time consuming. But no, I never regretted any of it.
I couldn't name an episode, but I know there are plenty of Easter eggs out there where you can listen to the episode, and because they were generally edited front to back, there are times that something will get said that is a extremely out of context comment, except it wasn't in the moment. You might hear one of us say something and it's like, what is he talking about? Usually that's an editing thing and not that we're like having a stroke mid-episode.
In looking through your personnel file, there is a page labeled Poop Trebuchet. I think that is related to what you're talking about here right now.
Is that true? I think that might have been brought up on the Discord.
Yeah, I think this is a complaint letter, actually.
That does sound like an Ed thing to say.
I have to tell you, though, that there have been times where that happens. I'll cut out something, and then later on, Ed will reference it. And I've thought,
He just leaves it in.
if I just leave that, that'll be fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
As a reference to nothing.
The first couple times it happened, I was just like, what the fuck, John? And then I realized he was doing it to me. And I'm like, okay.
I just want to pull back the curtain a little bit more here. How did you two communicate when you weren't in the studio about setting up these shows? Did you have any rules, like there was no texting hot takes about Norlin Eric Gibson's after midnight?
It was pretty low fidelity, I would say.
Yeah.
Usually the most we would discuss is I would go into the shop and just kind of look at the inventory and we'd kind of talk about what was there. And so a lot of weeks I would know what we were going to do, sort of, but that was about it. Most of the stuff is real time, like John telling me stuff and me reacting real time.
You mentioned the shop. You're talking about, of course, Thunder Road Guitars.
ThunderRoadGuitars.com?
Exactly.
Okay.
And Uncle Frank,
Mm-hmm.
who has been a longtime benefactor.
Yep.
Now that you are ending this, what are you going to do for him to pay him back for all the good he's done for you?
While Frank let us borrow a lot of guitars,
Yes.
in the 8 years or so, 7 years that we've done this show, I have had greater than 100% turnover in my guitar collection entirely through that shop.
Also, there has been a not insignificant number of purchases made as a result of this show.
Yeah.
People have specifically called the shop and said, hey, that guitar on the high gain, do you still have it? I want it.
Yeah.
I'm going to start wrapping this up. I have to ask you, what's the one legacy that you hope this podcast leaves? Is it a timeless riff, or is it just a nostalgic mixtape?
Can it be a timeless mixtape?
Yeah.
Yes.
all of our episodes uniform out a little bit in the number of downloads. If you look at the analytics, you can tell that people are searching for reviews of a specific guitar, and then they go back and listen to the episode. And I think that's kind of neat. Oh, I'm interested in a 78 Telecaster Custom. Oh, here's guys talking about it for half an hour. Did they like it? You know, that's kind of in the mixtape realm.
So do you think you successfully inspired your listeners, or were you just background noise for someone tuning their guitar?
Maybe both.
Yeah. We've made a lot of really cool friends.
I can't overstate how much I appreciate the people that listen to it and take the time to get in touch with us to tell us they enjoyed some part of it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Two dorks sitting in a basement talking about guitars and people find something useful in it. That's kind of gratifying.
Yeah.
This leads me to the final question. What are the odds you'll return for a reunion tour, or at least a Patreon Q&A?
I don't think we have any plans to throw more episodes up. We're not leaving like Oasis, right? John and I are still going to hang out.
Yeah.
I think this is a good time to wrap this up. I'd like to thank you from Bergstad Industries and, of course, the Ruinous Media network of music-related podcasts. And like I said, at the completion of the episode, clean out your desks, turn in your security badges, your key cards, and, of course, the Crow Mug. Thank you for your time today. All the best of luck in the future.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Rickenbacker.
Thank you. Well, I think that went well.
I am not convinced that that was actually a Ruinous Media employee. Maybe they have a whole behind-the-scenes HR crew that we're just unaware of, and we've been such solid podcasters that we haven't had those HR interactions.
Or maybe we've just been monitored the whole time.
Oh my God.
I mean, the fact that he would say he's with Ruinous and Verkstad,
Mm-hmm.
and that his office is next to the cat box,
Yeah, it's making me think
that we were being punked.
punked. Yes.
Yes,
You watching Severance?
sure am.
Some HR vibes
Yeah.
a la Severance from that guy. Old Johnny Rickenbacker, whatever his name was.
You've earned a watermelon dance party.
Exactly.
Well, at least we weren't frog marched out immediately by a Ruinous security. I
Yeah.
don't even want to know what those cats look like.
Violent. The violent Ruinous crew. How long do you think we've been part of the Ruinous Media network of music-related podcasts? Is it like 2 years?
I'm going to say at least.
Yeah. Can you think of any big changes that happened because of us joining a podcast network?
Well, we got sponsors.
Yeah, that's true.
The podcast then was able to actually pay for itself, if not pay us for doing it.
Yeah.
At least we weren't in the hole anymore.
Yeah, that's true. And we didn't really have to reach out to any of the sponsors. They were all handled by the good folk over there at Ruinous Media network of music-related podcasts.
Yeah, that's great because that's not a thing I'm good at.
Yeah, neither of us, I don't think the outreach is our game. There's a lot of podcasts out there that definitely have more inside scoop. They get the thing ahead of time and do those like sponsored ads. We never reached out to those people.
But you know what? I think there's an upside to that. Maybe we kept a certain objectivity.
That was a thing we talked about very early on that I was pretty adamant about. And I think some of it's just knowing myself. I'm not going to say this thing is awesome if I don't think it's awesome. And if we have to go that route with the podcast, I'm not interested.
Luckily, we were agreed on that from the get-go.
Yeah. Even Uncle Frank, I think, has been pretty supportive of that.
He was always just, yeah, it's your show, man. Do your thing.
Mm-hmm. You printed off this list.
The guest list?
The guest list. And you handed me a page, and it was like, I think we've done more than that. And then you handed me the second page, and it's like 2 full pages of guests. It feels like we have not historically had that many, but then you look at the list, and we've had a lot of guests on the show. Even though it hasn't been a prime focus of the show, we've had a lot.
If you look at this as a group and get a vibe off the names on here, I'm kind of proud of the fact that although we did have some heavy hitters, our emphasis remained on the small indie people trying to make a go of it, whether it's a boutique guitar maker or a pedal maker. I like to feel like we championed those people as much as we could.
Yeah, lots of boutique stuff in here. Pretty good.
Do you have a favorite among these?
Anand Wilder was super good.
We talked to Anand right about the time he was getting ready to go out.
Vicky and I went and saw him at a tiny little club here in Seattle. There were probably 25 people because it was pretty early post-COVID.
Yeah.
It was great. He was super cool. Nels Klein.
Nels Klein was amazing. We mentioned him to the HR Flack.
Over there at the Ruinous Media Network.
Yeah.
Baranik was awesome on the boutique tip.
Yes.
You and I both have Baraniks.
That's another thing. Like, we talked to some of the boutique people, and then we're in trouble because we're
Yeah.
like, oh, crap, now I got to get one of these because it's awesome.
Yeah, we've gotten Baraniks, Abernathy's, which is definitely a danger of the show. Some of them, maybe luckily, the guest came on at just the right time when we couldn't drop like $3,000 on an impulse buy from a maker. Maybe that's a good thing. John and I might have some control issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the boutique people we spoke with, how many of those do you think you would have bought if you could have bought?
All of them.
Agree.
Like, I would totally want a built guitar.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that I would want the super crazy built-in effects that they were heavily into when we had them on. You know, I just have that thing where I want a single pickup and a volume knob.
We have a question about that.
Yeah.
We got some questions from some of the faithful on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
What were your opinions that changed about guitars after 7 years of episodes? And I was kind of thinking about that. Has our taste simplified over the 7 years? I don't know if I was dead set on single pickup. I don't know if I had ever given it that much thought.
Yeah. I think if you had asked me 7 years ago what my favorite guitar was, almost certainly I would have said Jazzmaster. And after 7 years, Jazzmaster is maybe my least favorite guitar. I don't like playing them.
Maybe that's what's happened. We've had the opportunity
Yeah.
to play so many different instruments or so many different examples of a single instrument. It kind of hones your idea about what you like.
Yeah, and the weird complexity of like push-pull knobs and just stuff on a guitar.
Yeah.
I don't use any of it. You know, tone up.
I think my idea about colors of guitars has definitely changed.
Yeah.
I think I was pretty much a sunburst person for the longest time.
Really?
My Mustang is sunburst.
Yeah.
My Jaguar was.
Yeah.
My Jazzmaster was.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I just thought maybe it's just, some other way. Like my Telecaster is black now.
Yeah. I think for a while there, I was pretty all black.
I think you infected me. I have more black guitars than I used to.
Yeah, and I think at this point you have more black guitars than I do, which is pretty funny.
Hey, is that HR guy still around? He left, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I stole another beverage.
Oh.
I have a grape poppy prebiotic.
Yeah. How do you think your gut health is 2025 versus 2018? Do you think all of the pre and probiotics have really amped up your gut health?
I can only hope.
Okay. The guitar you are holding is so close. The Deluxe is so close to the correct guitar, and yet it's just not correct. The whole I don't know that I can identify the pickups. I think you need the Telecaster Custom with the bridge tele pickup.
Well, you won't get any argument from me because that's a fantastic guitar. Maybe have 3 tellies?
I have 2.
This would be the trifecta.
I guess that's true.
The reason I got this to begin with is not only because I knew that the Lovey pickups were badass, but because I thought it was cooler than a Les Paul.
Yeah,
I'm like-
100%.
Oh, I want 2 humbuckers, but I don't really care about having a Les Paul.
Yep.
This will work. And in fact, over the run of this show, I got rid of my Les Paul. That's another one I got rid of.
Mm-hmm.
Another question that was, where is it here? We've got pages and pages. The questions came in.
Yep.
Yeah. How did your recording rig evolve?
Yeah.
At first, We were actually going through an amp that I had mic'd up in another room so we could play live at full volume
And talk.
and talk at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It tends towards noisiness, and you can't change any of the settings on it because it's in a different room, and it's a pain in
It was
the ass.
brutal.
But then I think the game changer for us was the Strymon Iridium pedal,
Yep.
which is, basically an amp and cab sim pedal
Yep.
that you can go out into your rig with. And that's what we've used.
Since it came out. I think we got it when it came out because,
We interviewed them at NAMM, so
Yeah.
2020.
yeah.
So 5 years at least. The gist of that is, so you can hear that.
Got some room going.
I've got some room if I dialed the room down, completely dry. And over the years, we've gotten to a place between the amp sim and the cab sim where I usually just leave it because we're talking about different
Yeah.
pedals and effects anyway. So I don't need the pedal to do anything overt.
Yeah.
I got rid of a lot of amps,
Yeah.
mostly because it's too many watts. I don't
Yeah.
think I have anything that's over
15?
maybe 15 watts.
Same. I had an AC30 for a while. I love those amps. But it's just 30 watts is disgusting.
Yeah.
It's so loud. Now I've got the Nathan Jr. That's probably my go-to.
Huh. We had HR Flack asking us why we never did a ukulele, so
People have hit me up, about the show.
yeah.
And Superfan Krobs actually brought up why we've never done a ukulele. We've actually been asked a couple times. What is that?
This is a Martin S.O. uke. S for soprano, O for O size.
It's a little guy.
It's got a contact pickup on it. That's why it's picking up every noise I make on it.
If you go back and listen to the old episodes, one thing that I think is probably the biggest change was, man, those early episodes, you would play a snippet of a song from a band that actually used the guitar, and then it's like, hey, Ed, what song is this? And, the hilarity of Ed not knowing,
Yeah.
like Bob Dylan or whoever, and I'm just like,
That's
I've never
true.
heard that before.
Yeah, that was always really fun until we got dinged by the Spotify police
Yep.
and had to take down not an insignificant number of episodes
Yeah.
or risk being pulled altogether.
Right.
So then we were doing where I would play a cover song for the Beverage Song,
Right.
like a snippet of a cover song that I would record all the tracks for.
Yep.
And then we got dinged again.
Yep.
You bastards.
Yeah. I guess on platforms like YouTube, that happens there, but they just demonetize for the creator, which we totally would have been fine with.
Yeah, I would have been cool with that.
Yeah. It's all very fuzzy. So we just sort of stopped.
Yeah, that's a nice guitar.
Gibson, I've maybe had not the best opinion of. I find them to be litigious. Some of their previous ownership and decisions have been lacking.
Yes.
They do have a Gibson Foundation that is a charity arm, and I went to one of their pages and they actually call out giving instruments and supporting music education, and they specifically called out LGBTQ plus communities and supporting them. So 2025
Okay.
Ed Peterson, shout out Gibson.
Shout out the charitable giving division. Thumbs down the legal arm.
See, you're trying to put me in a hole, John. I'm not going to do it.
No.
Super fan.
Well, they have made some interesting changes over the course of the show. Most recently, they reissued that Epiphone Coronet made in the USA.
Yep.
+1 on that.
Love it.
Great idea.
Yeah. Old Ed.
Oh, old.
Old Ed would maybe be cynical about that. Oh, this is just a cash grab. This is just a money thing. best intentions. They are trying to bring back the Epiphone name with a quality line, and they're doing it in the USA, and awesome.
And at a good price point, too.
Yeah, like the Harmony stuff, all made in the
Yeah,
USA.
Kalamazoo.
$1,300. Awesome. What else did people want to know?
Oh, what are the most memorable failures / mistakes / learning moments?
Yeah, we explained to the HR dweeb the Alessandro episode.
Yes, Alessandro Cortini of 9 Inch Nails.
Right.
Never did that again.
John sort of made an actual checklist.
A pre-flight checklist.
Pre-flight checklist. Every week we sit here and okay, check the phone, check the DAW, check everything. That's a pretty big one. Out of 100-something interviews, whatever we've done, we messed up one.
Yeah, it's
And
not bad.
Maybe a pretty big one, but whatever.
Yeah. I don't know if we learned anything during the COVID times. For those that don't know, we mostly record sitting in the same room, looking
Yeah.
at each other week
Yep.
after week, except for during COVID lockdown when we couldn't do that.
Yep.
Then we went remote. I think it went pretty smooth.
Haven't missed an episode.
Right.
We use John's setup. If we were recording at Ed's, I would probably have a much simpler setup. It's all going through a DAW, but the DAW, especially for interview
Yeah.
software, in order to get the guitar and the mics piped through so the guest can hear the guitar, it's a pretty complicated setup.
Yeah. I want to think that the upside is the guest can hear as we're playing guitar and can hear as we're using the soundboard on the phone. So it adds more to the vibe.
Right. There's probably things we could have done better.
Totally.
There are people out there who do podcasts and it's their job.
Yes.
We may as well have moved to Hollywood thinking we're going to become A-list movie stars.
Yeah.
There's one Joe Rogan and he's a fucking dick. Apologies, 2025 Ed. I don't know where that came from. But, what else?
Let's see. How many picnics did Ruinous have without you? My answer was probably more than we know.
Sure. All of them.
Yeah.
Whatever the number is, yes.
Man.
Yeah,
Those guys have been really great. I really want to thank those guys.
absolutely.
You found them and then you pinged them out of the blue.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we should work together.
Right.
And to their credit, they listened to some episodes and we met. We had written agreements and stuff, but primarily it's been a handshake thing.
Yeah.
The whole time it's been great.
Yeah.
They're local dudes.
Yep.
They're music focused.
Yep.
That's us.
Yeah, exactly. We are in the top 1%, I'm fairly certain, of all podcasts, just on longevity and number of episodes.
Yeah.
Because most podcasts fail in the first year and 90% don't make it to a year or something like that.
The best for last.
Oh,
Do you, Ed,
yeah.
have a favorite guitar out of all 350 that we did?
There are a few that I really liked. I really liked the Epiphone Coronet.
The original one.
The original.
Yeah.
But I think when we did the recent reissue, I probably would just buy a reissue over the original.
Yeah.
I think I would have a hard time calling the Epiphone reissue my favorite guitar, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I could name one. I got one that is the one that got away.
Yeah.
The Gretsch double anniversary, the green one.
Yeah.
In the episode, I talked about my fondness for it. My guitar teacher, when I was in late junior high school, always played that, and I always thought it was cool, and, it's just been in my mind.
Yeah. I think the one that just is the most Ed, the one I just vibe with, is definitely the Millimetric.
Really?
For sure. It is a screamer. Those pickups that he
Yeah.
made are meant to kind of emulate the Travis Bean
Yeah.
style. That guitar rules.
On the low end, I have two.
Yeah.
The Yamaha Rev Star
Awesome.
and the Guild Surfliner we were both impressed with.
Yeah. The Hello Kitty guitar, pretty great. Man, one knob, one
One pickup.
pickup, fun. I think that's a great guitar for a kid, that's maybe into Hello Kitty. I think it's a great guitar for headbangers. I think it's a great guitar for anyone.
Yep.
All of it.
No downside.
Yep. What about top 10 dongs?
Oh, wow. Top 10, like, were the saddest that they're gone, or top 10, like, who we donged the most?
Oh, sheer volume of dongs?
Probably Leo Fender.
Probably. Ted McCarty might be way up there too, though. Les Paul.
Roger Rossmeisel.
Oh, too soon. In Germany, Guild guy. Fishing boat?
Fishing boat off the coast of California.
Yeah, that guy.
Fisherman.
Dude in fishing boat, dude in airplane.
We probably had some cancer in there.
Yeah. The recent Jimmy Carter dong.
Oh, real-time dongs.
Yeah.
That happened as we were recording.
Yeah. Felt pretty bad about that one. David Lynch dong.
Oh, David Lynch.
Yeah.
Trini Lopez.
Yeah.
Trini Lopez died in Palm Springs
Yes.
while you were there
Is that true?
during COVID.
Yeah. I think we did a great job, John.
I think we both did a great job. 7 years, Ed. Congratulations.
Congrats, John.
Yeah.
Morning Zoo. Oh my God. Okay. Thanks to everyone. We're out there. Verkstad, Tofu Guns.
Yes.
You can find us.
And the voice of HR was graciously provided by Ken Labar.
Yes.
Thanks, Ken.
Ruinous, if you want to check out podcasts from the Ruinous Media Network of music-related podcasts.
Yes, those guys.
Yeah. It probably took me 10 episodes before I got those words down. Maybe more.
I've tripped over them quite a bit my own self.
Yep. Okay. I don't know that we're great at wrapping this up, so I think we're just going to wrap this up.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.